Hey everybody, I'm Justin Bohn.
I'm Mike Val.
And this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we are always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic.
Destiny was on his side.
Strike to claim it. A strike to claim it.
And he got it! Who do you think you are?
Hello everybody, and welcome back to episode number 5 of the Bohn and Zano Zone podcast. It has been quite some time since we had talked last, Michael, and it unfortunately has been way too long, but fortunately, we are back.
We are back. We're here, and there's no better time than the present to get caught up on what's been going on.
So, very recently, the last 2 weeks on the PBA Tour, TSC, Players Championship. But before we get into everything about this episode, because we got a lot to talk about today, we want to thank Bowl for Life, Chuck Gardner, and Bowlage.com for everything that they are doing for us. Thank you guys so much for your support. Michael, right into the TSC.
Right into the TSC, back at Riviera, the Yankee Stadium of bowling, if you want to call it. A lot of good memories at Riviera, and good show.
Yes, it was a very good show.
4 Hall of Famers, basically, on the telecast, and one bowler who is really making his stamp as probably the best one-handed bowler in the world right now, Chris Prather.
He put a show on Sunday at the TSC.
He did put a show on there. He bowled Rash in the first match, who was past TSC champion. And
that was the closest match of the entire show.
Closest match of the show. Chris bowls 190, wins. And then right after that, he just kind of took the bull by the horns, and he made whatever they bowled on just look really, really easy. He is just so effortless at the bottom of the swing, and he just did something that was just incredible to watch for 3 games after that.
Yeah, he gets that thing where he takes a giant step left, throws it, brings his swing over his left shoulder, and just kind of like gives it that insane touch at the bottom, and it's actually really cool to watch.
It is, and a lot of people have said that his touch is as good as Weber's touch was back in the 80s when Pete was at the top of his game with the urethane look and whatnot. And I don't think there's anybody on tour now that can do what Chris does at the bottom. He's a magician at the bottom of the swing. He really is. And even in the title match when he got in, chucking it over the gutter on the one lane, I mean, he was just splitting the seams. He was within a board of the spot every shot, and it was absolutely incredible to watch. If you were a bowling fan, that was a phenomenal show to watch, and watch him for 4 games.
Yeah, he ran over Jason Belmonte in match number 2. Velma had some struggles.
And I don't even want to say struggles. I'm going to go with what Randy said. Randy said it best. He expected his ball to hook from a spot on the lane that it was not going to. And this was the first time, I would say, in the Belmo era on tour where he looked completely lost.
Yeah, he looked really, really lost on the show.
And I'm not a big two-hander fan. I think you know that, and our guests know that.
Yeah, Mike makes fun of me every time I bowl two-handed.
I do.
Go ahead.
It's almost like you're using training wheels to bowl. But one thing with Belmo is that he is a very smart bowler. He is very smart on the lanes. And that show at the Tournament of Champions, he looked like a lost dog. He looked like he had that deer in the headlights look, like, I don't know what to do. He never switched balls. He never moved his feet. He just tried to make something happen that was not going to happen. And I think that Prather tripping the 4 frames 1, 2, and 3 right at him, and then giving him the business on the third one, kind of just cemented Belmo's feet early in that match.
Yeah. And then in the next match, Simonson took a really different approach and threw urethane, like, dead at it.
And he threw the high hard one, and I watched it. I'm like, he's not going to miss. Like, just that
No.
he kept it in play. He was just keeping it around the pocket, and when he left that solid 7, I was like, my God. And I said, once he left the 7 pin, I said, Prather's winning the tournament. There's no doubt in my mind Prather was not going to win the tournament at that point.
Yeah, I think watching the last 2 matches, I think Simo came out with the right move, but I think Chris just was able to figure him out towards the end of his match with Belmo, and just absolutely mauled him that match.
Yeah, and Prather threw 2 different balls. He was in front of the ball return, 3-stepping it, and God, he bowled 280 in the title match.
Yeah, and then Bill O'Neill, I think, had an errant shot. It was either the first, and then I think he had 2 errant shots on the right lane, and then 1 shot that just went high for a 4-7. And I think if those 2 shots go, I think that match could go.
It could go
a
either
little
way.
bit. Yeah.
I mean, I thought Billy played him wrong. That's my opinion. I think he was a little bit too straight.
I think he was a little too far right in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think he got there like frames like 4 and 5 where he doubled.
Correct.
And then after the weird 4-7, he then threw another double or another triple. And he got lined up towards the end of the match, but Chris was just way too far ahead of him.
He got there too late. I hate to say it like that. He got there too late, and Prather wasn't missing.
Yep.
And every shot Chris threw was just 10 back. I mean, there was no there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They were just 10 back every shot. And my God,
I think Bill split in the first.
He did.
And he was done.
Yeah.
In frame 1.
So this was Prather's third title.
Third title, and the second time he's won 100K.
Yeah, so 3 titles, first major, 2 paydays over in the 6 figures already.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Let's fast forward to the following week.
The following week at the PBA Players Championship, I actually had the opportunity to go out and watch the Players Championship.
You were at Wayne Webb's. You were.
So if any of you are interested in my behind-the-scenes look, I actually had a little bit of fun with Packy, Hanrahan, and Chris Prather a little bit behind the scenes. And if you want to go check that out, vlog number 5 on my YouTube channel. And that was a really good one, too.
It all goes back to the vlog. It all goes back to the vlog. Of
course it does.
It all goes back to the vlog.
Whenever I can plug myself, I do.
He's a walking billboard, folks.
Sometimes.
So you're in So you're in Columbus, and you sat down with Prather. You hang out with Packy Hammerhand. What else did you see out there?
Here's a good one that not a lot of people are gonna know. But for those of you who did watch the show with Marshall Kent, you noticed that he had his whole head shaved.
He bicked it.
Yes. So he didn't show up to the bowling center until about 55 minutes before the show started.
Okay.
And for those of you that don't know what goes on before a PBA telecast, they're supposed to get there like 3 or 3:30, and the practice pair comes on at 3:30. Then they bowl on the TV pair, and then they go back to the practice pair, and then to the TV pair again. So he didn't show up until 4:30, and they already practiced on the TV pair and the practice pair once each.
Interesting.
And I was told he was getting a haircut. I'm like, what is he doing getting a haircut? Then I found out the reason why, and I realized, oh, okay, this is actually really cool.
Very cool.
So he got his whole head shaved for his dad, who that Sunday was actually his birthday, and his dad's going through chemo. And that was a really cool story for Marshall Kent.
Yes.
So, to the TV show. Chris Prather, Marshall Kent in match number 1. I think that Marshall had a little bit of the wrong ball, but he was back in the match in the 10th frame, had a chance to get up double and force Chris to double, and was a little unfortunate in the second shot in the 10th where he left a 10 pin. Mm-hmm. Chris needed fill in 10th, and he got it.
He does what he does, and that's why he is who he is, and he will go to match 2, and he's in the rematch, the title match of the TSC, where he bowls
Bill
O'Neill. Is there? I like Chris. I think Chris is phenomenal. The Shark.
Yeah.
Is there anybody worse than him coming out of commercial break? I mean, got on the wrong lane.
I know. I saw that.
And I'm busting chops
really
here.
Funny.
That is kind of funny. And it was funny even on the TSC show where he left the rail, and then he left the head pin again, and he's joking about it. All right, man. So out of commercial break, and you're on the left lane. You're supposed to be on the right lane, bud. What are you doing?
That was
little nerves.
I was standing there with the camera, and I'm like, wait, he's on the wrong lane.
And
he's still on the wrong lane.
I'm sitting having dinner. I was having dinner Saturday night, and we're at the bar, and I made the bartender put bowling on. So, in where we were at, there was college basketball, and then I have bowling on the big screen at the bar.
Good.
Of course.
Of course.
And I'm watching this, and I'm saying to myself, did he go already? Like, did they cut through? Did they miss his frame?
Oh, no. He got up on the wrong lane.
He's on the wrong lane. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, so, Chris...
All in good fun, Chris. Nothing again. All the love. All in good fun, Chris.
Yeah, so...
Then he did leave the head pin.
Yeah, he did leave the head pin.
He did leave the head pin, which would have win him $10 at the Hoinky if you leave the head pin. Did you know that? You bowl the Hoinky tournament, you leave the head pin, you win $10.
I'm 16, Mike.
That is true. All right, but all right. So he I think once he had that little error, that got in his head.
Yeah, I think Bill also had a much better look than Chris.
Oh,
Chris,
absolutely.
When I was there watching Chris bowl both the practice sessions, he was completely lost. The blue oil actually does make them a little bit tighter. So if you see a guy using one ball all week, they might actually have to use a different ball on the show because of the blue oil. And I think that's what Chris ran into a little bit. He was a little bit lost in the practice session, then on the TV pair, and then started to figure him out a little bit more on the practice pair again, and then it could have been wrong ball, but he was just completely lost.
Yeah, and Billy had a really good look, and it almost like Billy was due. Like they owed him one from the week before. So he got his little payback. He beats Prather in the second match, and he goes on to bowl his doubles partner. And roommate, Mr. Belmonte, in the semifinal match. And
Belmo had some mishaps in the third and fourth, but I think that Belmo, it's possible he got a little robbed in that match.
He did. I mean, he hasn't had much success on TV lately.
No. He hasn't won a match in the last 4 TV shows.
He is 0-4-4 in his last 4 shows. He's getting back to the bowling community, it looks like.
Yeah.
He's finally giving a little bit back. But
what he's doing for Australia is really, really cool.
Oh, phenomenal.
He's raised almost $150,000 for all the fires and everything going on in Australia.
Oh, it's phenomenal what he's doing. He's a class act.
So, anyway, back to bowling. So, what really was the turning point in the players' match between Bill and Belmonte was the Brooklyn in the 6th from O'Neill.
Oh, yeah.
Because if he got up and Brooklyn, and then Belmo got up and shred the rack blower 7. And, I mean, if the Brooklyn doesn't go and that blower 7 does go,
that's a whole different match.
It's a whole different match and a whole different title match, too.
Absolutely.
So, Bill would end up winning that match against Belmo and then go on to bowl E.J. Tackett. And
so he goes to bowl Tackett.
When E.J. got up and struck in the 4th and they were both on the front 3 and the front 4, I looked right at Brandon and I said, someone's winning $1 million today.
Yeah, and it was funny, I actually posted on Facebook before the title match, I said the over-under of the title match is going to be 268. Who's taking it? Was the average score on tour this year in title matches, I believe, was 282 and a half, I believe it was.
It was a lot.
It was over 280.
300, 289, 290, 280.
Yeah, so that's a lot. It's a lot of strikes. EJ, wow, he had... I thought he had a better look than Bill did. I really did.
EJ had a really good look.
Yeah.
Until about the 9th frame where he blower 10 and then blower 7 in the 9th and the 10th. And, well, Bill was able to get up and double and win the tournament.
Bill needed all 3. Double and 9. So basically needed all 3. And he just dead aced them.
He said he just was going through his process. I had a chance to talk to him right after. He said he was just going through his process the first 2 shots. And then when he got up in the, on the fill ball, he just wanted to make sure that it got there and didn't miss the head pin. Well, he got a handful of it and was really fortunate to get 9, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because that had 7 written all over it, and they just started falling, and well, lo and behold, he's got 9 up there, and he's the winner of the PGA Players Championship.
He's holding the trophy for his 2nd major, and Bill will be getting that call, and he'll be getting recognized. He'll be a Hall of Famer one day. Let's get back to the players really quick. This may be a salty topic to discuss, but we're the lefties.
Yes,
we're calling all lefties. Where are you?
They have not been around for the last 2 weeks. Fortunately, they had it back a little bit at the U.S. Open, which we will discuss in the next episode because that is still going on while we are recording. But
yes.
Anyway, the 2 majors, I don't know if one made the cut in either one of the events. I think at the TSC, I think Jesper was the high at like 40-something.
Rhino was the high lefty at the TSC. He was 9. No, you're right. It was Jesper. He was 9 over.
Yeah, 9 over.
For qualifying.
And then at the players,
I don't think there was a lefty to be found anywhere on the board.
Jacob was like 170 over in the cut, and he was probably over 100 out of the number.
How about the last, I believe, 6 spots? And I'm not going to count O'Grady. Was he DNF due to an injury?
Right.
Spots 92 through 86, I believe, 86 to 92, all lefties.
Yeah. And not bad ones either.
And I made a comment on my personal Facebook the week of the players, just like I did now. Where are the lefties? And I heard a lot of feedback from some guys saying, well, the lefties had it in Oklahoma and whatnot, and nobody complains when they had it in the PTQ. That's the PTQ. That's not the actual tournament.
Right.
Okay, so, 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 6 lefties got through to PTQ in Oklahoma. How many made the show? Just Jacob.
Where?
Right? In Oklahoma.
Packy made the show in Oklahoma.
Okay, so 2 lefties made the show in Oklahoma. And Buttriff.
No, Buttriff didn't make the show. But Packy, Jesper, and
Jesper,
Ryan.
I'm sorry. All right, so three lefties made the
Cincinnati
show.
led.
Okay, so three lefties made the show. And then you go to the following week, and they're wiped out.
Right.
And the week after, they're wiped out. And currently, at the Open,
3 of them made the top 24.
three out of 3 are in the top 24.
And then 2 additional ones made the top 36.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear, well, you gave him that at the PTQ. That's not an answer. That's a cop-out. We're talking about up-and-coming lefties that have been bowling on tour for a couple years, and we're talking about legends that are left-handed, and they're wiped out. I know a particular lefty, I'm not going to mention any names, 220 under, didn't miss a single pin or a 2-pin combination at the Players, and he was 220 under.
That's insane.
And I said to him, how do you go 220 under when not missing a single pin and not missing a 2-pin combination, an 8 spare? He goes, well, when I didn't get 8, 9, or I struck, I got 5.
Right.
That's not normal.
No.
And what is it? Is it a combination of the machine being used, the patterns, or it's a combination of both, and the righties just starting so far left, they're in the lefties' laydown point to begin the block, and the heads on the left are gone.
Right.
It's an ugly situation, and you're never going to make anybody happy with lane play. And you know that from all your experience in bowling.
Yeah, the left side on tour has been an interesting topic for the last 2 weeks.
Here's free advice for you, all right? This is Mike's free advice today. If you're a good lefty bowler and you have a dream of bowling on tour, learn how to play golf. Learn how to play golf right-handed, and go play golf.
Someone told me this a while back, and I'm not left-handed at all, and I don't plan on throwing a left-handed. Maybe a backup ball, but
No. I'll never talk to you again.
Long topic away.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was told, or Brandon was standing right next to me when the guy told me this. He said, you have to be on tour and to be left-handed on tour, you have to have the left-hander's tour mentality.
What is that?
So when you have it, you have to get by with the people who say, oh, you guys had it this week, the left was easy this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you don't have it, you got to get away with the comments, oh, you stink, you're terrible. You're supposed to bowl good, right?
You have to be mentally tough to be a lefty, you're saying.
Yeah, you have to be a lot more mentally tough left-handed than you do right-handed.
There aren't many lefties that bowl on tour anymore. But the ones that do, they know what they're doing. I'm not taking anything away from them. But it's sad when these guys who are doing this for a living, when they don't have it, they can't even find it because it's impossible for them to find it.
It's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Exactly. It's like finding the needle in the haystack. They can't find it. And, I was always taught you have your A game, a B, a C, and a D game, right?
Right.
When your A game doesn't work, you go to your B game, and so on and so forth. Their D game isn't even there.
I know.
They're dead. I mean, it's unfair. It's an unfair playing field for them right now. And I tip my hat to anybody who's left-handed bowling on tour. It was this week, Simonelli decided to do his Hulk Hogan impersonation, rip off his shirt at the foul line out of frustration. I feel you, man. I'm not left-handed, but I can sure, I feel what you're going through. It's not fair. I totally agree with you.
All right, Michael, next topic. What do we got?
You got softballs?
Do
you have a softball?
I mean, I got a softball in the garage.
I play softball.
Dad's played softball.
That must be a sight. That has to be a sight.
All right, we're not talking about softball the game. We're talking about soft bowling balls at the U.S. Open.
So why don't, and I'm not too familiar with the whole situation and how this came to the forefront, so why don't you tell everybody how this became an issue with the softballs and whatnot?
I know it's the biggest issue on tour right now, or since Brunswick bought out EBI, was the Purple Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
The Purple Hammer was going to be the big ball that everyone was going to miss, and was curious if it was ever going to be made again. So what they want to know is, why are people having so much success with the Purple?
Right.
And USBC has done some tests, and they're completely legal, the whole 9 yards, and people just want to know why people are bowling so well with them. So when Sean Rash made the statement in Oklahoma about how urethane should be banned, I think that was something that really started it up, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really made USBC want to do something about it and basically just get people to stop worrying about it, to make sure these balls are illegal, this and that. Basically just people to stop talking about it because it's not an issue that needs to be open for discussion.
They just kind of want to appease everybody at this point.
Right. So they did a hardness test at the U.S. Open for every ball that was checked in, making sure all the balls were legal.
Mm-hmm.
So they took out durometer, and durometer is basically the measurement of the hardness of your bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
And the minimum hardness is 68 for a bowling ball to be legal. And 2 of them didn't pass, one of them being the one that's been on everybody's mind, Jacob Buttress, Purple Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
One of them came in at 67.8.
Really?
Yep. And
really?
Two of them did pass, and that one was 0.2 short.
So they were going to go after him for being off by that much or that little.
Yeah, that ball was confiscated, and he can no longer use it. He no longer has access to it. And you wonder, why are all these people still talking about it? Because they think, oh, well, he's got an illegal ball, he's made him successful on tour, da-da-da-da. And, I mean, to be honest, it's not like it was in the 50s or even the low 60s. It was 67.8, and the minimum is 68. So, I think that's one thing that was a big issue. And you can't take away something that he's done because it's done and over with. When the hardness of the bowling ball misses by that much, that could literally be anything. If he had that checked just after practice, because the bowling ball gets softer when you bowl with it.
It's called wear and tear.
Right. It could have been sitting in a hot room somewhere. Could have been sitting in his car and it was sunny. Could have been literally anything. And all those things like that can really make a difference. You still can't take away what Jacob Uttereth has done the past couple of years, because what he's done is
it's impressive.
insane.
I think that could have been maybe somebody trying to take a shot at him.
Yep.
Maybe a little jealousy because he has the trick that
nobody else has.
Right. The Purple Hammer has been out for almost 3 years now, and every EBI guy in the world had one or two or whatnot, and
multiple.
Yeah, and it seemed like it was more of a lefty thing than anything. More lefties had it and were more successful with it.
Right.
But you can't take away what Jacob's done.
No.
I mean, Jacob's, from the first time he made his first show years ago, he's learned how to bowl.
Absolutely.
He's learned how to bowl a lot.
And you got to keep in mind, when he broke the record with his 9 regional titles in 1 year,
yeah,
he was on staff with 900 Global.
Yes.
So that was not with the Purple Hammer at all.
No, that was with all the global stuff, and not to mention he did have some success with the Purple Hammers at Nationals last year, I think, at the USBCs.
Yeah.
You can't take anything away from the kid.
No.
I mean, look, he's double jointed. That's pretty unique in itself. That also helps his game a lot.
Yeah.
But if you ever look at the specs or the stats when he's on a show, that kid's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, he's repeating shots like nobody's business.
Right.
And I think the culprit, or the whistleblower, if you want to call it that started this whole thing, maybe just a little bit jealous of the success that Jacob's having and could show maybe a little bit of the struggles that the other person's been having in the past recent years.
It could be.
And it's a jealousy thing, you know? But this is... it's not like the cheating scandal in baseball. It's not like steroids or whatnot. So I think this is kind of a moot point, and hopefully it's the end of it.
That just needs to be dropped and let
go.
The issue is taken care of, and it can't happen again.
No, exactly. And I did a little bit of research on this. They don't weigh balls in on tour anymore.
No,
they don't. They do random
spot checks.
Correct, random spot checks. And to my understanding, it's basically been. Let's say if I bowled the U.S. Open, right, and I go 190 over for the first block. They're going to weigh all my stuff in because they don't know who I am. I'm a nobody. Where if Buttreth or EJ or O'Neill go 190 over, they don't say a word.
Right.
And I think it's not right. Everybody should be weighed in. And, years ago,
it used to be that way.
Yeah, and I was told by pretty reliable sources, because I did a little bit of investigating, they haven't had a scale in the paddock to do ball weigh-ins in at least the past 15 years.
Yeah.
There's something wrong there. If the spot checks are great, let's weigh your balls in. I mean, come on. Guys, it's the PBA. What are you doing? Seriously.
All right, Michael, we got any other topics we want to discuss?
Well, the U.S. Open's going on right now.
Yes, we will discuss that in our next episode.
Let's preview the U.S. Open really quick.
Preview the U.S. Open?
Well, we're going to preview the U.S. Open show. How about that?
Okay. Well, Zach Wilkins in round number 2 had a absolutely ridiculous number. I'm going to read off the 24 guys going into match play after 32 games. Anthony Simonson is number one. Going down the list, Jason Belmonte, Zach Wilkins, Christopher Prather, the man of the last 2 weeks.
The Shark.
Francois Lavoie, Bill O'Neill, Mr. Senior Norm Duke, Chris Vi, Jesper Svensson, AJ Johnson, Wes Malott, Dick Allen, Jake Rollins.
Local guy.
From New Jersey.
Local guy.
Christopher Sloan, Rhino Page, Nathan Bohr, Patrick Gerard, Tommy Jones, Michael Martell, another local guy. Perry Crowell the fourth, Tom Smallwood, Dom Barrett, Brad Miller. There was actually a tie for the last spot.
Yes, there was.
For 24th between EJ Tackett and Oscar Palermo, which EJ Tackett would win over Oscar. And that rounds out the top 24 at the U.S. Open.
At the U.S. Open. Here's a question for you.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about Mr. U.S. Open recently is Francois Lavoie, the defending champion. 2-time U.S. Open champion.
Yes.
Who has a softer touch at the bottom of the swing, Francois Lavoie or Chris Prather?
I don't know. I mean, that's a pretty good question. I think a lot of people are probably going to say Chris because Chris has been seen a lot more prevalent than besides the U.S. Open.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to take my guess, or if I had to give my 2 cents, I would say Chris Prather.
So you have to pick one guy to throw a shot for you to win a tournament on something very challenging. You're taking Prather or you're going to take Francois Lavoie?
They both get up and just go through their process. They're both from Wichita State. They've learned how to handle and deal with under pressure situations. I mean, you watch Francois Lavoie shoot 300 on the U.S. Open show.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw someone bowl 300 at the U.S. Open on TV?
Well, not on TV, but if you were there on Wednesday, you saw a boatload of 300s at the U.S. Open this week. And listen, I don't want to be running anybody's parade. I feel like I've been Mr. Negativity today on today's episode, Justin.
Yeah, you have.
No, look, I'm using this as a forum to speak my opinion.
Go ahead.
And I think I'm speaking it in a relatively professional manner here, right?
Right. You're not bashing anybody at all.
I'm not bashing nobody. It's not what I'm here to do. It's the U.S. Open, the crown jewel of bowling, right?
Right.
Number one, they had a PTQ for this event. Fine. I believe there were 34 guys in the PTQ?
30-something, yeah.
30, let's say 34 guys, right?
Okay.
They took 21 bowlers.
Yep.
You couldn't find room to take everybody out of the PTQ? That's number one. Number two, you bowling on 4 different patterns, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was very fortunate to bowl in the U.S. Open twice in my life.
When was that, Carolier?
When I was a Carolier, when they had 500 entries. And we bowled on 40 feet, 1-to-1, flat across the lane for 3 days straight. Why are we bowling, or why are they bowling on 4 different patterns throughout the week? Guys,
I guess.
Here's my question, right? Day 1, the leader was 285 over for 8.
Right.
Day 2, the scores were through the roof. They were 11 or 12 300s through the first 2 days of the Open.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not taking anything away from these guys. They're very talented. But it's the U.S. Open. Okay? Golf's U.S. Open is impossible. Tennis's U.S. Open is always a challenging thing. It's in the middle of August in New York. The conditions are hard. It's almost like they bowled on a wall the first 2 days.
Yeah.
We go to Thursday.
And
they are
impossible.
Dead impossible.
It was either 11 or 13 guys plus out of the 108 guys that bowled.
After the first squad.
And there were only 2 guys who went 100 over.
Yep. After the first squad, I believe C squad was up first on Thursday.
Yep.
C squad had 2 guys that were plus for the block. No, I'm sorry, 4 guys that were plus for the block.
Yep.
4 guys that were plus. And Belmonte was on the squad. Prather was on the squad. Prather was 280 after 2.
Yeah.
Okay. He's the hottest bowler on the planet. And he bowls 287 for his first 2. Duke, the senior, the elder statesman of the event, went 111 over? 101 over for 8. And if you watch his interview afterwards, he looked like he just ran a marathon.
Yeah.
He looked like he ran a marathon.
They do something similar like that at a tournament here called the Best Tournament, where we bowl 6 games. The first 6 games qualifying are on basically a house shot, one of the easiest patterns you'll probably ever bowl on. And then we bowl on basically 1-to-1. It is literally the hardest thing I think I've ever bowled on.
It's impossible.
And there were 4 guys that went plus, and there's probably 150 of us that bowl this tournament.
That's nuts.
And you bowl those 6 games, and it is brutal. I led the squad at +8.
On the 1-to-1.
+8.
That's impressive.
And it is unbelievable how exhausted you are from just trying to not bash your head in a wall.
It's mentally challenging more than physically challenging.
Oh my God! It's hit the head pin, hit either side of the head pin, and just
Leave it makeable.
and make what's ever there. And it's for 6 games, and you're like, God, I just want to throw a double, and you just can't.
And that's what Norm said in his interview. He goes, when you have a string, you just got to keep it going.
Yeah.
You can't give anything back. And how about one other one? He did not make the cut at the Open this week. He tied for 36th.
Walter Ray.
The GOAT. I mean, 60 years old.
Yep.
He was on that garbage for 3 days. And, I mean, is there anybody better than Walter? I mean, wow. He is arguably...
Super senior.
He is now a super senior. Arguably the greatest bowler to ever put a pair of shoes on. But to still be competitive in that tournament on those patterns against the kids...
At that level.
And he learned how to throw it with 2 hands. Because he felt that, I'm not competitive anymore. I'm losing to the kids. Well, I want to win again. And he taught him how to bowl 2-handed. And he's bowled the Open combination, 1-handed, 2-handed, and he just missed the Cashers round. I mean, unbelievable. The guy's amazing.
I know.
The guy's absolutely amazing. And then, you talk about Duke again, who's in the top 5 right now. So, to be interesting, we'll talk about the Open on our next episode.
Well, Mike, that's it.
I think that's going to be about it. I think I've ranted enough today.
Yes, Michael, you've ranted a lot today. But
So we will be doing our first Bohn and Zano raffle, Justin.
will we?
We will be. I am going into the vault of bowling balls that I have, and I am going to be donating to our show a brand new 15-pound Storm Gravity Evolve bowling ball. We're going to be taking that ball. We're going to be donating it. I'm donating it to us, and we're going to be raffling it off. So why don't you give a little bit of insight to how we're going to be doing this, Justin?
Sure, Michael. So the way that we're going to be doing this is all of our future raffles, we are going to be help support the Bowl for Life Foundation, raising money for their cause and Chuck Gardner, giving back, chasing 100K this year in 2020. So the way that we're going to be doing this one for the Storm Gravity Evolve, 25 spots, $10 a spot, and we will do Facebook Live, random wheel, something. Mike knows more about it than I do.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
We will be going Facebook Live. All of the information for this raffle will be on our Facebook page. So if you do not like our Facebook page, please go to Facebook, Bohn and Zano Zone on Facebook. We have a page for us, and all the information for this will be on there. I'm sure me and Mike will share this throughout our social medias. And, somebody's going to have a Storm Gravity Evolve in their hands. Brand new.
Brand new, and it smells pretty good. I don't know what it smells like, but it'll make your car smell good.
Well, anyway, it'll make someone hopefully happy, and it'll be going for a good cause at Bowl for Life.
Absolutely.
So, as for now, I'm Justin Bohn.
And I'm Mike Val.
And this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we are always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic.
Destiny was on his side.
Strike to claim it. A strike to claim it. And he got it!